If we remember about it, that's good enough. Alright. And that's why we took the Dracosaur. And this is the Elder Dragon War. And this is the reason why this is in the deck. And they scooped. I don't have dragons right now, but this would be a lot of damage already. Oh, I can kill stuff with this. That's great, man. Hello everyone, it's Sloth here, and today deck that absolutely surprised me. We will be playing in Standard, Dragons, and we'll actually beat Mythic with this. We have stats to prove it, and I absolutely was shocked. I didn't think we'll perform so well, and the deck is really fun because you have dragons, actual dragons. So we are playing a lot of them. You probably didn't see Ognes. This ramps you together with Magda, so you can get this early game and just remove everything they have, and then you go into this mid game with your dragons that are simply better than their creatures. Warmonger and Rivaz are low-key heroes of this deck. This ramps you and gives you dragons from the graveyard when they finally die, so you can basically use each dragon twice, and the Warmonger is insane card and it's super scary. This is actually an extremely good card that doesn't see play. This is 3 mana 3/2 and it basically draws you a dragon every time it attacks. It has haste, so you instantly get the value as well. With Atsushi you can create a lot of treasures together with Magda, and you can try to sacrifice all of them to draw a lot of cards with the Malevolent Witchkite. That's the dragon you probably didn't see. It's a warlock as well. If you appreciate, you know, the different type of deck, because come on, it's not a control. Don't forget to subscribe and show some love to the dragons, because oh boy, they need it in Standard. And yeah, let's go into games and have fun, guys. Alright, we're going first. We have removal, we have some early dragons. We don't have black mana though. Alright, this will be wild, but let's sit. So we take the damage, and I don't think we kill it. So this is Resolute Reinforcements probably. That's not great, but we'll have 3 mana on the next turn. Or maybe. Listen, at this point, we are a Viashino deck. At this point. So let's go for it. We can block at least one of the Resolute Reinforcements. We know you have it. So, let's sit. And the mono red and like all the red decks with wonders are like trigger me so much right now. Not really because whether you win or lose, but it's just always bad game. Unfortunately. Alright, let's sit. Nothing. Good for you. So what do we go for? Honestly, I think we go for the dragon. We go like this. And listen, we can go for insane levels of damage. And they probably go really hard on the next turn. I think it's Resolute Reinforcements into Recruiter, probably. Potentially even 1-drop, so we might die soon. But let's see it. Maybe they will just cycle it. That would be the best way, the best case. Mirex. So they seem to be a little bit flooded, right? Mirex is a good card overall. So it seems they have more than one land and they wanted to cycle one of them at least. Warden, sure. If they act, man, I think we can out damage them with Terror of the Peaks. What do you do? Another creature. I mean, we have another creature. Do you want to tap your stuff, my friend? Tapping stuff is great. Yep, they will tap their stuff. So, how we do it? I don't need the stop, but I will still make it. Let's see the play. That's it. Now we kill it. Now they're fully tapped, and I think they might die, bro. Like, this is a lot of damage. So let's go for this, I think. I don't have dragons right now, but this would be a lot of damage already. Oh, I can kill stuff with this. That's great, man. Well, that's actually great. That means their board is smaller, and I cannot kill them on this turn, so we will just go with this. Can they win? If we just... yeah, I need to think how much damage they can deal. I don't think they have Resolute Reinforcements. I think one blocker should be enough. Let's sit. A Gamjo is okay, absolutely okay. That's actually really good because I was a little bit scared that they will get more value into the board. we can just go for the value wars. Especially with the Warmonger, you will get the next dragons. So we can cast it for 3 mana and probably use 4 or 5 mana depending on the draw to cast some, you know, some creature. Knight of Chaos is good for them, but we can fight the, you know, the mid-game value with this deck. Of course, 2 1-drops, so they will scale very nicely. But with this, listen, we can cast it from the graveyard. And I think we want to go with this. And go for the throat, right? We could also go with the Warmonger. That would deal some damage, but I don't think it's good enough. So we can go for the throat here and attack and get more treasures. Like, they will help. Like, we really want some extra, you know, tempo. You can see that we're always short on mana. With Rivaz, if they kill something, we just get it back. We just get it back. Well, maybe not this one particularly, but we have a lot of value. So we can basically try to outdo them over time. With Knight of Chaos, they have insane levels of, you know, just refilling. Is that already enough? Of course, of course. Alright, they just killed double dragon with their 1-drops. However, we will get the Warmonger, so I hope for some Dracosaur action on the next turn. 3 damage. Sure, you did it. They will flip it, so it's good for them, but we have a lot of 3/3s. Okay, that's a nice draw. Honestly, that's a pretty nice draw. So let's go with this. We want to keep this one for mana potentially, and we'll get a lot of treasures. And now the question, how hard we attack? I think we might only attack with this one. I like the extra lands, but this is probably a little bit better. I mean, let's see the dragon first. And we still get some treasures because this has haste. Alright, Dracosaur or Atsushi? We have 4 mana on this turn. Unless we tap. I think Dracosaur is better overall. It's a little bit worse on the defense though, because we need to tap this and I don't want to. But then we have a cut down as well. So it's close. This will give us extra creatures. You know what? Let's go for this. I think we can manage it with thanks to cut down. All right, let's see. There won't be blockers, of course. Yep, correct decision, unfortunately. And now we play this. Yeah, we can use the treasure, and we can basically block 3 creatures with this, and hopefully that's enough to negate their full attack. All right, the first strike is a big deal. They will get, so this is basically their big turn. They need to kill us probably on this one. Otherwise we can just out-tempo. We have what, like 14 damage in the board, so that forces them to defend. And we also keep getting more dragons, so the Warmonger will do the job of, you know, just outvaluing them. Alright, so they're going for 2-turn lethal, man. That's very interesting. I will absolutely use it. Well, we don't need to do it now, right? Like, we can use this treasure, we just need to not waste it. If we remember about it, that's good enough. Alright. And that's why we took the Dracosaur. I guess we will play the land, because why not? Listen, I'm taking this step. And, how do you exactly work? Whenever a creature you control with haste attacks. I just want to survive, right? They will go for the recruiter, so this will be their big turn. Like, we are getting a lot of creatures every turn. And I think we can just fight it, man. Don't forget we are getting 2 extra cards a turn with this. I could try to not pressure them as hard. 3, 6, they can go for a lot of creatures. I can block 6, 7 with cut down. I think we have to just wait for a moment, because we know we will get another Dracosaur. Like, we will just keep getting stronger and stronger, and they're kinda out of their power curve. Mire's definitely not something you need at this point. If they cast this, they cannot really attack, right? Yeah, they keep scaling. They absolutely keep scaling. And now I will actually go for the cut down. Because this is not from the treasure, but from this. We go for those. We're both, like, basically we're holding each other hostage, because if I attack, then he will kill me. And if he attacks, then, you know, the opposite happens, basically. See? It's so beautiful. That was their game plan. They had the decisions. They decided to go for this, and they realized their plan doesn't make much sense. Alright, so we are on the play, but we definitely don't need the 4-drop right now. We have Magda, so we should be kinda okay for the early game, but we definitely need to get into, you know, those Warmongers. And our opponent is still playing Mono Red. Or is it Boros this time? It seems to be Boros, that's for sure. So, I mean, let's go with this one. We need some treasures, because we might possibly lose the land drop. So it won't be easy, but maybe we can get there. Alright. I will probably not remove Hoardmaster, so we should start getting some, well, good for them, just being good at magic. Alright, that's a land, that's good, that's really nice. So how do we want to play it? We can block with this and maybe go for... We could try to force a good trade. Maybe. Alright, let's try it. Let's try it. I think it's a good deal overall. Let's not show anything. This is Sorcerer Speed Remover, so it's a little bit worse than usually. And let's go for this one. That's it. We will try our best. I wanted him to double block, to be honest, but obviously they want to play their Knight of Eos for 0 mana. We will see how it goes. Definitely a bit on a rough spot, but we have some ramp. A random Godric appears. Of course, why wouldn't it? You can just play anything in your red deck and it will work. But at least we force him to protect this, which is already more than I expected. Alright, so we can target Godric, hit the invasion, but we don't have good value then. So that's a little bit scary. I think we can go with Atsushi on this turn. We could also go Warmonger, right? And then we either flip or they lose Godric. You know what? I kinda like this play. I kinda like this play. We also get the value anyway, so good for us. Well, I guess we aren't getting the value anyway. Alright. We have a lot of dinosaurs, or the dragon, but you know, it's fine. We kinda forced the trade. They really are scared of this Invasion of Tarkir, for a good reason, and they cannot really attack right now. Alright. I mean, listen. So far, he really enjoys this, so let's keep attacking. And we definitely want to attack like this. I will keep the Magda for a moment. We want those treasure tokens so we can draw cards. Yeah, now it's better. It's way better this way. And I think we go with Dracosaur because it really helps to draw a lot of cards over the time. Alright. Double trade. We could kill one of them. We could kill one of them. But I don't think we really need to. I honestly think we don't need to. And we just say go. We want this treasure so we can cast the Dracosaur. But we also don't want him to go super crazy. What are you? At the beginning of your upkeep, create a treasure. And when you do... I also create a treasure, alright. Okay. I don't mind it, my friend. That's such a weird one. But I love it. Absolutely love it. It dies. I still get the treasure, which is super important. And now we can play our big stuff. And I'm not sure if his stuff is better than ours. And he's out. And we actually killed Boros with this one. And they had like lethal demolition on turn 2, I believe. Well, we are doing it. Alright, we are going first. And we don't really know what we want right now. Probably go for the throats, but let's see what the opponent is doing. So it will be a lot of cards. You know what? Mono Green definitely has some troubles with killing this kind of creature, especially that their mana is a little bit rough still. Yeah, and now it means go for the froze, which is absolutely amazing. Cut down? I mean, I'll take it. It should find the target sooner or later, and if we can... I should probably attack, to be absolutely honest, but I don't want to risk. Like, we should be absolutely fine. I see, I see. I mean, it will happen. And they want to attack. So we could trade everything. We definitely kill this one. We can go up to 4 or 5 mana depending on how well we will draw. I honestly think this is good enough. If we clear the board fully, like, we are getting decent value already. And that means that we can Rivaz of the Claw and potentially ramp into some powerful plays right now. Also, this can play stuff from the graveyard. Alright. This is probably something we want to kill. Alright, can I make the play? Red? Red? I think we can do everything, right? So we go for this, and this is why it's so important to have this ramp. And see, yeah, they might have some protection spells, so I want to make sure that, you know, they don't get it. And we seem to be out-tempoing them, and they are out. They cannot beat the might of True Dragon. This mana ramp really did the job, man. Alright, so we are on the play, but man, our lands are a bit shaky. I really hope we get at least to the street for mana. Like, otherwise we are in such insane trouble, man. Alright, you know what? Maybe this saves us. Okay, man, we are doing it. We are actually doing it. This will be super harsh, because they will go extremely aggressive. Let's see if they have the teeth. You want to ninjutsu something that is 3-2 and dies to cut down? Well, of course you want. It would be such a shame if it died. By the way, this was the best opening this deck can ever have. Like, this is absolutely maximum roll on their part. Alright, Cavern of Souls can be interesting. I don't remember if they run a lot of counter spells. It's more of, like, you know, glyph, like, it's an aggro basically with some artifacts. Alright, that will be a little bit rough. We cannot block, of course. Alright, let's go for it. That's a nice cut down. I mean, let's go for the dragons. And how do we want to play this? We cannot use it, right? It's not a dragon. It really looks like a dragon. It should be. Let's go for red. And then we go for this. It has flying, that's important against this deck, and very good stats. And we kill this one. I think we need to main phase while they are tapped. And now if... I tell you, they scoop so quick to this deck. That's crazy. Man, this is the fastest scoops I have ever had with any deck in Standard and Mythic. Alright, we are going second, which is not perfect, especially with Magda. We would love to have this extra tempo. And our opponent is still Boros. Oh my god. How much Boros can you play in your life, bro? We definitely don't need more lands. Like, we are already getting super flooded right now. We are on the draw against the most aggressive deck in Standard, basically. So, yep. Just get those slick shots. This way you can... let's go for this one. I really don't think we can waste more tempo. And this kinda makes an awkward situation, so they need play with fire specifically. Otherwise they can be a bit behind. Show me. Show how good at Magic you are. Can you play all of the cards in your hand in one turn? And try to not play Magic since turn 3 upwards? Well, that's way less than he should go for. But, you know, it's fine. They still have Slick Shot, unblockable. Yep, they will take a lot of time and they still will play those spells. The whole deck is about just trying to kill your opponent as soon as possible. You just burn the face as high as you can get. And they really overthink it, you know. With Play with Fire, I honestly just would hit the Hoardmaster, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Let's go for this one. We target something, we get the treasure. We go with 4 damage in total. That should be good enough. And we kill it. And we get the treasure. Lawrence escape. Go, go. I mean, what? Like, do you not play it? What's the point, man? I tell you, they overthink everything so much for the simplest decisions. So we will try to play the Dracosaur thanks to the treasure and see if they can answer it. Because if they cannot, the first strike will kill them. I'll tell you, I'll give you the secret to winning with Mono Red. You play all the spells and you cast it on this. That's it. Good job. Well, alright, they just wait. Well, this is an interesting draw. Because that means we could try to flip this. So we have 2 ways to play this. Either go for the throat, but they are waiting with Lawrence escape probably. Or we just go with Dracosaur, that absorbs a lot of damage. Well, this is a hard one. This is a hard one. If I play the Warmonger, I force him to have another thing, because that would be a 4/4 dragon. I think this is better. I honestly think this is better. Also gives us some cargo for the future, but it's not the main thing. I will only attack with this in case we need to block with Magda. And we also get another treasure, so they will probably burn it. Of course they... Okay, it's a Ganja. Alright. So show me. Is this the last card? We still get the treasure, and if they try to save it now, of course they will have the perfect card. Don't get your hopes up. If they have man... Alright. But that is just a small creature, right? That's a 2/2, which means that Magda can block it. Well, alright, alright. I guess we aren't getting our Dracosaurs. A random top deck from the top. Oh, bro, you either play it or you don't. Like, what are the choices, really? Let's see. Are you good at magic and you drew a buff spell? Of course. Of course. Still, they instantly scoop. Man, at this point I don't even know what to say. Alright, so we are against control deck so far. But you know what? This can be interesting. We need to draw a little bit more creatures and a little bit less lands. We have Cavern of Souls, but it will take a moment. I'm so tempted to just go for the Warmonger on this turn, but it will probably die. I mean, it will probably die, so we probably go for Rivaz and we see what happens. We can cycle all of the cards with Elder Dragon War. It will probably die at the end step, right? Well, you know what? Not the worst, not the worst. And that means we get the legendary ramp, and we can use Cavern of Souls to make sure that nothing dies. And let's go. I mean, let's go. Bro. Yeah, why wouldn't you switch colors? Alright, and I think we go with Terror of the Peaks, right? We could also go for the Throat. But this is just better, man. We go definitely with this one. And the tap. We just need it uncounterable. And I don't need full control. So it might die still. But we are starting to get the value, and we start to get the tempo. And that's a tap land, that means no Sunfall on this turn. And... Alright. I mean, they couldn't answer it, and they decided that Terror of the Peaks is game over. And it kinda is, probably. Alright, let's see this one. Well, it's not very dynamic, that's for sure. I mean, we have one death to all pigeons. He's high ranked, so I think he will be mono red, and I don't think this hand wins against mono red. Like, I don't think we can take this hand, man. Honestly, this one is probably better. We definitely don't need 2 of those. You know what? I think this was a good decision. Yep, especially that with Theater you can get 2 lands easier. Skeletons, alright. Interesting. This will be a very hard game. We don't have a single removal spell. And this is extremely aggressive deck. Basically they only have 1-drops and the 3 mana skeleton enchantment. Yep, we cannot block it. No questions about it. Our stats on creatures are really high, but we don't have removal, so we cannot like deny any kind of scaling from them, which can be really rough. Alright, is it a Warmonger? Or Rivaz of the Claw? If they don't remove this, we can cast Dracosaur on the next turn, which we probably really need. I would love to get some Magda value, man. But I don't think we can. With those we can block the skeleton, I guess. Do we want to be aggressive? I think I do, just because this cannot block. And other skeletons also cannot block, so I really hope to, you know, force him into bad situations. Even though he answered it, oh my god, that's really good for him. Never mind, the whole point was that it breaks his turn, so he cannot make a good play. But don't you worry, they have the good play. And I'm mana screwed. That means I cannot play anything. Listen. We are going with it. I don't care. At this point I kinda need to race. Let's go with Dracosaur. We won't be able to... I guess we could go for the other one. We won't play double Dracosaur. This was exactly what I hoped for, because I actually care about Magda more. Especially with the cut down. The problem is that we missed a lot of mana already. Yep, and the damage still stacks here. Yep, this also cannot block. That was the one I meant. So yeah, but we don't have enough pressure to punish it because we missed the land drops. Yep, and that's probably too late already. So yeah, I really don't think we can get there, man. Oh, I also need to kill myself to do it. Oh boy, this will be fun. Alright, so let's go like this. We can block one of the creatures. We will get another turn. If we draw something like, you know, the Elder... or Eldest Dragon War, or whatever it's called. Never mind. Good for you. I told you. They had too good opening and we missed land drop. You cannot win them. Alright, our opponent goes first, but we have a cut down. The best card in Magic right now. So, do we go with the Vents? I think we really should go for this, especially on... like, we have play for turn 3, but on the next turn we can only play one of those removals. I would love to have untapped land, but you know, it is okay. Alright, this, however big it will still be a good target for removal. Like it will be rough because they're on the play, so they have a huge tempo advantage already. But maybe we can mitigate it. When they play a land, they should probably play a land. Okay. I mean, we will go with a cut down, right? We shouldn't get punished for it. This will be really huge later, but it will be later. Really, Magda. Oh man, that was really important. If I only knew. Let's go for the dragon. And honestly, I think we go for Rivaz. If we can ramp into Dracosaur, that will be huge. That will be absolutely huge right now. So let's see it. Oh, it's basic lands? Forest. Specifically forest. Alright, listen. Listen. We have to go with it. We just have to go with it. Especially that if it dies, we can get it back with Rivaz. So that, man, this card is insane. The fact that it's very often too weak for standard is just insane. Alright, and our opponent can, man, when you cannot beat the Dracosaur, like, you know you are out of the game, basically. Alright, welcome to Mythic, where everyone plays a red deck with 1-drops and nothing more. So, we are against Boros, we have the Elder Dragon War, so, you know, if things align, we can absolutely kill everything they have. But because they are on the play, we might be dead before turn 4. And as we know, this is the most fun you can ever have in Magic. You know, just try to be dead. We will play Magda because not only she ramps us, potentially, but also it is a blocker. So before they go for recruiter plays, we might absorb some damage. Let's see. Never mind. Just have the perfect draw. Have you ever tried to have a perfect draw? It's good enough. Still, The Elder Dragon War is here, and I honestly think we still go with this. Like, this will give us some value for the later part of the game. They're not paying attention to this game at all, man. I tell you, they even forget they have things to do in this game. I'll be honest, it really feels like they are playing Magic for the first time in their life. Alright. Another trigger. Are you still in the game? And they literally don't look at the screen even. Which tells a lot about, the deck. You hear? Like, do you really want to play this game? I think that if someone doesn't like to play Magic, remember, you aren't forced to. You can play an actual deck. Alright, man, this is so weird. Like, aggro players very often just really don't seem to be enjoying playing this game at all. Good job. So, let's sit. We will go with Dragon for sure. And this is the Elder Dragon War. And this is the reason why this is in the deck. And they scooped. I think they were more AFK during this game, they actually played it. And you can see that they stop playing at the slightest disadvantage. Like, if you play any card that interacts with them, they're already losing the game instantly and just going to AFK another one. Well, Boros for you. Alright, and let's talk about the deck a little bit, because I have some thoughts after playing with it. So, first things first, while you are watching, alright? I care about your wild cards. The Witchkite, the card that made so much sense on paper. Man, I think we literally never used it. It's not because it's not good, it's just because either we lost or won before it came into play, because the format is so quick. So to be absolutely honest, I think those two absolutely didn't work. And it's a little bit sad because, like, with Atsushi you can make 3 treasure tokens, with Magda you can get even more, and when you finally play this, sacrifice like 5 treasures or something, you basically refill the full hand. And if you have Terror of the Peaks in the board, you can also deal 5 damage. Like, it gets crazy. However, it's all about those 1-drops with haste, so it just seems too slow. So while I love the card and I will try to make some decks with it, it didn't perform in this deck, at least, not in the games I've tried, and we played quite a lot. So, but that's a good news, And you will ask why. Why, Sloth? It's good news that this card isn't performing, because the deck still had a really good result. You have seen it. We are actually on the winning side in Mythic and we ranked up in this. And the point is, if we can do it without those 2 cards, that means we can add 2 of cards in the early game or the mid game. So we can go cut down Rivaz, or you can add something. Honestly, would need to think. Dracosaur is by far the card that won me the most games. I was thinking the Terror of the Peaks would be like the main, highlight of the deck, but it's so scary that usually it is targeted. However, casting the spell and paying 3 life is a big cost, so even if they kill it, usually it really hurts them. But yeah, the Dracosaur is just taking over the game, and the first strike with so much toughness and so much power is a big deal, against all the red decks, because they cannot burn it and they cannot roll through it with like Monstrous Rage because of the first strike. So it really stops them in the tracks, and 5 mana is pretty decent mana cost, especially with Rivaz. You can cast it on turn 4 and even have a cut down as a backup. So the deck is performing way better than I expected. I liked Ognis, alright? I know this is the card that is probably not used at all. 4 mana 3/3 haste doesn't seem super great, but man, when you get those treasure tokens, and you can see that very often with this deck you lack mana anyway. Even with Rivaz you just need more, and especially when you consider that you can play dragons from your graveyard thanks to this one, you probably need even more lands. Usually the games are super tempo based, so I liked it. Is there something better in this slot? Maybe, but I really enjoyed this one, especially that we have a little bit of Viashino synergy, so sometimes Cavern of Souls can be cast on Viashino or played, and you get the mana. This one is green, but in reality you don't need green to play it. It's just Rakdos mana, just a lot of it. Magda is by far like the most important early game thing. The fact that it ramps you so heavily is so great, especially if you can curve out nicely with cut downs, go for the Sword of Rose Magda and they don't kill her instantly, you can get so much extra tempo that will give you those cool dragons. The Elder Dragon War also performed, like, this was specifically for like Boros, so you can kill everything they have, and I even wanted to remove one of them because, you know, sometimes it doesn't work, but I left two and I'm so happy I did. Like, you kinda need some sweeper. We have a lot of removal, so we can still fight card for card against creature decks, but you know, this extra punch of just getting rid of everything small, and the best part, it doesn't really hurt you too much. Your dragons, you know, the big mid-game dragons, all survive it, and usually at some point you can sacrifice Magda. Invasion of Tarkir was bigger deal than I expected, not really by the removal, like sorcerer speed is always a little bit slow, but the fact that they are forced to defend it, that's the big deal. You have seen Boros having Godric not attacking, just to prevent this flipping. And the reason why it's so scary is that you have a lot of dragons and each one of them can target different creatures, so if there's one good attack, you might absolutely board clear them, and 4/4 is no joke of a stat, so this card is actually really scary and will force some of the aggro decks to actually defend, which is wild. And Atsushi is a very slow creature, but man, the value you are getting from this will keep you going forever, especially that you can replay it from the graveyard with Rivaz, so just keep playing those over and over. So guys, this is definitely something else. Like, I didn't think it would perform so well, but I'm happy it did, and we might just created one of the best dragons deck in the standard. I didn't see many of them, so hopefully this will perform for you. To be absolutely honest, I think we're a little bit lucky here, because everything depends on the draw. This deck has very powerful cards, but at the same time, if you fall behind, you don't have too many ways to get ahead. Probably the Elder Dragon War is one of the few ones, but when you get this ramping or the synergies going, like, you can do so much. So I hope you had a great fun. I think we all like dragons, so don't forget to like the video to keep them coming. Maybe in the future I have some more ideas, so we will see how it goes. And yeah, hopefully you had fun. Thank you guys, and see you tomorrow.